We're professionals.
Don't buy your stone online by yourself.
A situation that I was in a lot was having to design really ugly jewelry.
I don't think there's a bad day being a jewelry designer.
After having started my career in agency graphic design, my first jewelry job was as a retail CAD designer, where I 3D modeled jewelry for production for 7 years. Aria, as an independent jewelry designer for Eleux Jewelry in Colorado, has her very own line and has had a completely different experience with her career.
I honestly knew since I was a kid that I was going to be a jewelry designer. You know, the weird kid like picking up rocks on the playground and like
was that you?
Yeah, that was me. I just like never stopped. So I turned my hobby of like rock collecting into my career. And I was like, I'm going to be a jewelry designer. So I actually called GIA when I was in middle school, like when I was in 6th grade. And I was like, how do I get in? I went to GIA. I got my gemology certification, diamond grading, jewelry design, both CAD and hand rendering. From there, I started my business online. Eleux kind of stems from evolving luxury through exclusive jewelry. Yay! It looks so good.
For those who don't know, GIA is the Gemological Institute of America and is really like kind of the most renowned educational facility in our industry in the States for sure, and maybe even internationally.
I started with my GG, so I just wanted to further my understanding of gemstones, like colored stones and diamonds. From there, I did CAD, so that's computer-aided design, so it's learning how to design with technology. After that, then I did hand rendering, so sketching and painting.
So how long were you at GIA?
I was there probably for about a year.
Is that an experience you would recommend?
Oh my gosh, yeah, everyone should go to GIA. Every student you meet there has something to offer, whether they own mines in Colombia or Sri Lanka, then that person becomes your source. I worked for a few retail jewelry stores. I worked for Tiffany and Company. And then when I moved to Colorado, I worked for a jewelry store over here as well. So that one was more of like an independent brand, like not as large scale as like Tiffany's. So it was really nice to like have both and like see how those two different companies like run. Then I started my own line from there.
Something I think that's really hard about working as a retail CAD designer, or at least this was an obstacle for me, is that you're not really designing your own designs.
Yeah.
In a retail store, a customer comes in and you consult with them, and there's an investigative process to find out what they like and what design best suits them. But a lot of the time, ultimately, it's all the customer's choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so a situation that I was in a lot was like having to design really ugly jewelry.
Yeah.
As a designer, where would you say your inspiration comes from?
So I pull a lot of inspiration out of the stones I use. I tend to lean more towards like petrified wood and rhodochrosite and like just stones that people haven't heard of, just because I like the patterning and the colors that come from these stones.
I think it's a good rule of thumb to start with the stone and build the design around the stone. What sort of challenges would you say jewelry designers face? I mean, is there ever a bad day being a jewelry designer?
This is like all I've wanted my whole life. So like I'm always having fun and doing what I love. I don't think there's a bad day being a jewelry designer, especially when you're doing bridal, to like create something that's going to be with them forever and passed down for generations. You're part of their love story. Like it's so cool.
What's your favorite piece that you've designed?
Oh, I think my favorite piece is probably Turks and Caicos earrings, which you know and love.
I love those earrings.
I love them so much. They're just so bright and colorful, and they like really, like when you're wearing them, like you feel like you could be in Turks and Caicos, you know?
Yes. What is your advice to aspiring jewelry professionals?
Find your niche. Find something that makes you stand out from the crowd. Like, I mean, jewelry industry is pretty saturated. Everyone's trying to create something different. So yeah, and then also just like don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a lot of organizations like the Women's Jewelry Association. There's probably some metalsmithing groups in your community as well. American Gem Trade Association, even entrepreneurship. Like if you're starting your own business, like there's probably entrepreneurship groups that can help you. Because when you're a business owner, you're doing everything, right? Like you're doing content creation, you're doing marketing, you're doing website design, all of the above.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So like really just ask for help and people will be there.
And then from the customer side, because I know a lot of people are very curious about jewelry design. When I was a CAD designer, people always had questions for me. They're like, what's your life like? Like, how do you start your day? And so I know we have a lot of customers who maybe are interested in purchasing and interested in the custom design process and are just kind of trying to learn a little bit more about the industry and get their bearings. What's your advice to a customer who is shopping for a custom design?
Don't buy your stone online by yourself. Please don't. Please
yes.
Yeah, just like you, I've seen like a couple stories where people have purchased something online and then you go and look at it and it's just not what they were told it was.
Yep.
So really just talk to an expert first. Like, if you don't have to work with that expert, like just talk to them and get an understanding of what you're purchasing before you buy it. It's a big purchase. Spend a lot of time like researching, learn the 4 C's.
Yeah, I think trust is everything, especially when you're shopping for something not just expensive. It's not just the value of the piece, because there's inexpensive jewelry too. That's less of a commitment, but it's more about wanting that piece to last a long time, something that you can enjoy, something that you can pass down. And you don't want any surprises down the road. You want to know upfront that you're getting what you think you're getting, that it's a quality and valuable piece that you can continue to enjoy for generations.
Yeah, definitely.
For those who don't know, Eleux is a woman-owned jewelry company based in Colorado, specializing in custom design and luxury earrings. Each piece is designed around unique, one-of-a-kind gemstones to speak to the individuality of the wearer.
Yeah, so my brand is just online, so it's eleux.com. I do free consultations on Zoom, and we can really just go over, like have an introductory meeting and go over what you're looking for, and then I can give you the different options from there if you're looking to build a ring, or even if you want to see a piece of jewelry. Like it's hard to buy jewelry online, like honestly, and I'm happy to show it to you. I'd love to set up a call like this and like I can show it to you on and we can like play with it. I can give you the size. So I'm pretty small scale. So everything is completely handmade here in Colorado.
This is handmade, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. So all the ear climbers, these are really cool. All of the backings are completely handmade to fit each stone. So like the one Jordan has, this one, I think that's really what sets my brand apart is a lot of people go more of the mass produced route. But at Eleux, everything is one of a kind. So you'll only see this ear climber. Like the other one doesn't exist because the stones are all different. Or like this piece, like I can't find the same cut of stone with the same pattern ever again. So there's only the one. The future of Eleux, I think we just have like so much more space to grow, whether it's like being in other stores, doing pop-up events. I'm just really excited about the way that my designs are going. It's a complete change from like where I started. And it's like really fun to like look back at like those old pictures of things I was creating when I first started. And I was like, wow, that looked good.
I think that's so encouraging for professionals who are just starting out and also consumers who are wanting to really connect with a brand, customers who want to see the face behind the brand and want to know where it's coming from, want to know that it's handmade coming out of Colorado and that it's from the heart and that these are very deliberate designs focused around the natural beauty of the stones.
Really just start with the stone. Like I find a stone that I'm just initially drawn to, and then I pull from that stone's colors or the patterning that's in it, and then I use complementary elements to then finish the design from that like centerpiece stone. I don't like use like certain design principles, or I'm sure I'm like using them, but I'm not sure like which ones I'm like drawn to.
I had to do this. I had to go to training when I was younger in San Diego. One of the things that they told us that really resonated, they said once you know the rules, you can break them. And so that was something that we did. We'd take something that people would expect artistically to be one way, and then we would totally go in this opposite direction just to make people like, oh, there's a shock factor to it. It's different. It's captivating. In this day and age, we're marketed to constantly everywhere that we go, everything that we watch and do. Somebody's trying to sell us something.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to market a part of you, which like your line, I mean, that's like from your soul. Like those are your designs.
Children.
And so when you're, exactly. When you're trying to market that, to come up with a design that's going to reach people and speak to people, it has to be something that they haven't seen, something that's going to make them stop what they're doing and take a second look.